Southern California State Militia Radio Show. My name is Tony Burke, and I'll be your host. Well, welcome to another episode of the Southern California State Militia Radio Show. A lot of things have happened since our last show. Our beloved Major Hagenson suffered a heart attack. I'm here to report that he's doing amazingly well and he's actually home resting. No one knows the extent of the damage thus far, but he seems to be recovering well. Please keep Major Hagenson in your prayers. Today's show is going to be very interesting. We have Vivian Hall on the line with us. Vivian, her background, she worked with chiropractic care. She assisted in the veterinarian field. She enjoys writing, poetry, reading, music, gardening. Amazing cook. I can attest to that. Vivian is a good friend of mine. She's with our beloved Sergeant Hall, who's another great friend of mine. They have 6 children. She became a group admin on Triple M for the American Patriots Kitchen. Since then, she's kind of been the go-to girl on prepping ideas and how to get your food provisions going. Vivian, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Vivian, I like to just start this interview out just by asking you a couple basic questions. First and foremost, what first woke you up?
Well, in all honesty, what first woke me up was Sergeant Hall talking about all of the gun laws that were going through last year and how gun laws were being pushed through and how they were unconstitutional. It was mainly Sergeant Hall's doing waking me up because I was just like a lot of other people. I was not awake. I didn't realize things were going wrong here, and I was just clueless on everything.
Yeah, it seems to be that one person in our life that sparked us, and I can remember who sparked me. And believe it or not, people might say I'm crazy for this, but it was listening to Alex Jones. Now, he can be a little crazy from time to time, but I have to tell you, all in all, he really got me thinking off my hook, so to speak. What was your first thought when Sergeant brought to you the idea, the notion of the militia?
When Sergeant Hall brought my attention towards him interested in joining the militia, I was behind him 100% because we had actually had discussions about militia and history lessons and things like that. So I was behind him 100%.
What would you say to a new woman, mother, female wife, what have you, who has been introduced to the militia through their spouse or through a friend? What would you say to that first-time person?
Well, I've actually talked to many of the wives in the militia, and the first thing I say is not to be intimidated by them. There is so much support in the militia, and you're not going to be left there just to go on your own and know exactly what to do, because you have the support of all the other militia wives and of your brothers, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, it seems that there's quite a few women that are intimidated, in fact, about their husbands and boyfriends, what have you, that are in the militia. And it's great that there's that sort of support out there that you can offer these ladies.
Well, that's what I try to do, because a lot of women aren't, they really don't know what the militia is about. I was lucky because I was explained too about the militia and what a wonderful thing it can be to have the support of your brothers and sisters, to have unity, to have basically your community of like-minded folks that are willing to help to protect all the families, to be just a wonderful support system. And, you know, a lot of them still are a bit intimidated because they see a lot of the things that I do, which is a lot of the prepping and the information I give, and they're like, wow, I could never do that. You can. I started from nowhere. I had absolutely no knowledge on anything. And I'm telling you, it took me about 9 months to really get me started.
Well, you know,
and it's just been rewarding. It's been very rewarding.
well, that leads me to my next question. What was the catalyst for you to start the American Patriot Kitchen? How far into prepping before you started that group? By the way, kudos on your success. It's one of the fastest growing groups on the site, and there seems to be a ton of people's involvement in there. But what was the catalyst? What really got American Patriots Kitchen going for you?
What got American Patriots Kitchen going? I don't I don't really know. When I got active on Modern Militia Movement, I was mainly in the women's auxiliary because I wanted to find some other like-minded women and ask questions and get some information on how to better provide for my family in case of a disaster, things like that. And because of all my questions and all the information that I had been on what I was doing and how I was providing for my family, and they decided they wanted me on the American Patriots Kitchen. I put up a lot of recipes and things like that, and they thought it was great, and they thought, wow, she can really contribute pretty well to the American Patriots Kitchen. When I first joined, I noticed that American Patriots Kitchen there wasn't very much information on there. It wasn't a very active page at all, and there were a few things here and there. I mean, but the last post, I believe, was a few months before. So once they decided to make me an admin, I just started rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
Just started posting recipes, and more people started joining. More people started asking questions, and I was just constantly on it every day until people started to get more active. And it's a really good page. It's a great group. We have a lot of the contributions by many of the Patriots who became interested in learning more about cooking and recipes have just really made it happen. I was basically the one that just started putting in more information, putting up more recipes and things like that. And that's when all of the questions and the ideas started coming up, and it just made the group grow. It's amazing. It grew so fast. Within a couple of months, we had nearly tripled our Patriots joining the page. It was wonderful.
That's awesome. I remember early on when you were watching some of my videos, and I had a dehydration video up there, and you were asking me questions about it. And it was interesting talking back then, seeing how you've come from then to where you are today. And last time I visited your home, I was amazed at how much prepping you had done and how much dehydration. And now I'm going to you for information. It's just great to see how you've grown and evolved so well, and you're doing so well with this whole program that you've undertaken. I have to tell you guys, I was out at FTX and I was working with Hall. We were doing some rappelling. We had people up, and it was hot. We're up in the mountains, and we're way up high, so we didn't bring enough snacks up there. All of a sudden, Sergeant says, "Hey, you okay?" I go, "I'm just really hungry," and he hands me one of these power bars, one of Vivian's incredible. I don't even know what she names them. I call them Vivian's awesome power bars. They're just so good, and it was all peanut butter and nuts. And I got to tell you, after eating that, I had the most incredible second wind. I got through the rest of my day without a problem when I was pretty much bonking at that moment. That and a bunch of water, it was awesome. So Vivian, again, you know how I love those bars. I think you should market them because they're amazingly good, and they're just full of energy, full of carbohydrates and all kinds of good stuff. If you don't mind, if you don't want to, you don't have to, but talk about that, because those bars and those little things that you make, you've given them to the guys out in the field. It was Christmas. She made a big box and just gave everybody different snacks and treats, and she's just such a giving person. I just love her to death. Anyway, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be putting you on the spot here, but you want to talk about those a little bit?
Well, the energy bar idea I got was when I was during the beginning of my prepping stage, I guess you can say. I was trying to find foods that were long-lasting, that were nourishing, because with the FTXs, I know some of them could be so gruesome and just drain you of energy. So, of course, I wanted Sergeant Hall to have his energy be well-fed. So what I did was I looked online for some energy bars, and I looked for the ones that had a longer shelf life, so he can be able to carry them out backpacking, to FTXs, meet and greets, things like that. And They're consisted of oats, peanut butter, a little bit of salt, vanilla, honey, chopped nuts, chopped fruit, and the energy powder for the shakes, and that's pretty much it. There's no sugar, there's no preservatives, anything like that. They're all natural, and that's exactly what I wanted for him. When he did share them, and I got positive feedback, that's when I started making them, in bigger batches every time an FTX would come up, because I wanted him to be able to share with everybody and letting everybody know, hey, you can do this at home. It's so easy. You don't have to bake them. You don't have to babysit them. They're easy and they're delicious. I love them. My kids all love them too.
I would love to see you market those. If I could be involved in that in any way, shape, or form, let me know.
You're more than welcome to, Lieutenant.
I'm just kidding, but they are seriously amazingly good. I really love them. When I run out of them, I find myself wishing for more. And if you didn't live so far away, I would be down there. They're really great.
Well, that's why I always send you your own special batch.
I know, and I really do appreciate that. Really do. Okay, back to some more questions here for you. How does someone who's never prepped, never started, has no clue about any of this stuff, where's a starting point? I mean, most people must be very overwhelmed. Oh, I can't afford it. I'm on a budget. I have this. If you wouldn't mind talking about your situation with all of your 6 kids, your budget, and how you've managed to make this thing happen in such a short period of time with over a year's supply of food for 8 people. Oh my goodness. Folks, this is an amazing story in itself. If anything else, listen to this, because if this doesn't wake you up to the reality behind prepping, and if you think you can't handle it, listen to Vivian.
Well, I've done a lot of research, and being on a very tight budget, especially with a family of 8, I did a lot of research on how to do things myself, such as dehydrating, preserving, canning, things like that. It's a lot cheaper, and you know what you put in your own food. You know what you're dehydrating, because it comes either from your own garden or from good fruits and vegetables. I was very overwhelmed in the beginning because I had no idea where to start. And where I did start was with the dehydrating. I started doing my own potatoes. I did research on which foods would last the longest if you can dehydrate. Carrots is another one. Hominy. Hominy is wonderful. Once you dehydrate it yourself, it has a lifetime shelf life, as long as it's kept in the right conditions, as most preppers know. Has to be in a cool environment, away from the sun, things like that, to preserve the flavor and the vitamins and things like that.
And you did say hominy, right?
Sorry?
You did say hominy, right?
Hominy.
Hominy. Okay.
Yes, I am Hispanic, so a lot of our foods, a lot of the dishes that we make consist of hominy, and a lot of the things that are in your long-term storage, beans, rice, things like that. So, I think I had a little advantage point there, but if you think about it, worst case scenario, you're stuck with your food storage supplies. What is one thing you're going to be making a lot of? Soups, in my opinion. You can add your dehydrated vegetables, dehydrated meats, anything like that in your soup.